To what I'm calling the social media crossroads of 2026. Okay, let's just start with a single, really powerful number. 5 hours. And what is that? Well, that's the average time a teen now spends on social media. Every single day. And just so you know, that stat comes from research that was highlighted in the 2026 World Happiness Report. So, you have to ask, right? As these platforms command more and more of our time, more of our attention than ever before, where are they actually taking us? Well, the first major force that's shaping that future is what you could call the seamless social machine. This is really the dominant corporate vision for what social media is supposed to be. And what's driving that machine? You guessed it, money. A ton of it. According to Sprout Social, global e-commerce sales are projected to hit an absolutely staggering $6.8 trillion in 2026. And look, this growth isn't just coming from, boring old banner ads. We're talking about a really mature social commerce ecosystem. We've got AI that's discovering products for you, the explosion of live stream shopping, not to mention super effective creator marketing. It all blends together to create these, seamless experiences where you can shop literally anywhere, anytime, on any platform. So let's zoom in on the tech that's making all of this possible. We're talking about the AI-powered feed, which is basically turning into your own personal shopping assistant. Okay, the key concept you need to get here is something called agentic AI. Now, this isn't just a simple chatbot answering a question. No. These are autonomous AI agents that can actually anticipate what you need, compare prices for you, and even handle the entire checkout process with almost no input from you. It's what Sprout Social is calling the era of agentic commerce. And this slide, wow, it really illustrates the huge shift in how we find things online. We're moving away from that old school keyword-based search, SEO, to what people are now calling answer engine optimization, or AEO. So instead of you typing in running shoes, plantar fasciitis, and then having to do all the research yourself, you just ask a normal conversational question and the AI just gives you the answer. It is a fundamental, game-changing shift. But here's where things get a little complicated. There's this 2026 trends report from Hootsuite, and it points out that while AI tools are now table stakes, basically every brand has to have them to even play the game, it's authenticity that's the real differentiator. And when you think about it, that makes perfect sense, right? In a world just flooded with automated perfection and AI content, we're all craving something real. That authenticity, it's the one thing that cuts through all the noise. It's how you build real trust when everything else could be fake. And that right there, that brings up a really crucial question. With all of this efficiency, all this automation, who's actually in control here? Well, it turns out that very question is fueling a growing rebellion, a push for a totally, fundamentally different kind of internet. And at the heart of this whole movement is something called the Fediverse. Now, the best way to wrap your head around it, and the Alestio blog explains this really well, is to think about email. Right? You might have a Gmail account, I could have an Outlook account, somebody else can run their own private company server, but we can all still email each other. The Fediverse is just taking that exact same idea and applying it to social media. In this table, it just breaks down the differences so clearly. Just look at Threads versus the Fediverse. Corporate ownership, Meta versus nobody. An algorithmic feed being pushed on you? Yep, on Threads. Nope, not in the Fediverse. Ads, of course, on Threads, but the Fediverse is ad-free. It's just built on a completely different set of rules, It's all about user ownership and getting rid of a central algorithm that decides what you see. But this rebellion, it isn't just a technical thing. It's also deeply, deeply human. Because that seamless social machine we were just talking about, it has a hidden cost. Think about it. The entire design, the infinite scroll, the algorithmic recommendations, the constant social comparison, all of it is engineered to do one thing, maximize your engagement so they can sell you stuff. And a lot of people are now arguing that the bill for all that engagement is finally coming due in the form of a massive mental health crisis. So let's look at the evidence. First up, the parents. A 2025 UK survey from a group called More in Common asked them a simple question. What has the biggest negative impact on your kids' mental health? And the number one answer, by a huge margin, was social media and just way too much screen time. And hey, it is not just the parents who are worried. This 2024 Harris poll is, it's staggering. It found that nearly half of Gen Z respondents, we're talking about the very people who grew up on these platforms, wish that TikTok and X, the platform that used to be Twitter, had never even been invented. I mean, think about that. That is a profound level of regret from the core users. But maybe the most damning piece of evidence of all comes from inside the companies themselves. This is a direct quote from Meta's own internal research, which was leaked back in 2021. It says, teens blame Instagram for increases in the rate of anxiety and depression. This reaction was unprompted and consistent across all groups. Let that sink in. They knew. So, where does all this leave us? What's actually next for social? The truth is, we are at a crossroads with all these powerful competing forces pushing and pulling in totally different directions. So really, it boils down to this. We have three potential futures that are all colliding right now. First, you have the commercial imperative, that super smooth AI-powered world where content and commerce just merge into one thing. Then you have the decentralized alternative, a user-owned ad-free network like the Fediverse. And finally, you have this growing call for safety, a massive public demand to start treating social media like a product safety issue, especially when it comes to kids. And that brings us to the final and probably the most important question of all. As social media continues to literally